Hey everyone, so for the next week I'm staying in Vegas and I'll be staying at the New York Resort and Hotel. Now I've walked around here before and I thought it was a pretty cool place, but I've never actually stayed here and I've seen a lot of good reviews about it, so I figured I'd take a look at it myself. So come along with me and let's take a look. So there was a couple things in the parking garage I didn't realize until I'd been here a day. See this number of 0 above me here? This is indicating how many parking spots are available in the area. And then you see all these red lights above the cars. That basically indicates that there's a car parked in that spot and that it's blocked. If it's green, that indicates an open spot. And if you're driving around looking for a parking spot, this is very helpful. Once you get in the parking garage, you're going to have two entrances into the hotel. You have one here on the left, which will take you over to the arcade area. And then you have one over here on the right, which is a little bit harder to see. And it will take you more directly right to the front desk. So let me show you the walkway to the one on the right to the front desk first. So there are 8 floors. You have elevators here to go up and down on different car park levels. And this is the main entrance in on the right. To the right is the Empire elevators that you can use to get to the higher levels later on. When you reach the bottom of the escalator, you have your self check-in, which I would highly recommend because the actual check-in process, like through the desk, it was absolutely horrible. This clip shows it kind of empty, but the majority of the time, I would see it like this. It was always full and you were waiting 30 minutes. Coming in from the left side of the parking garage will dump you out over in the arcade and the roller coaster area. When you first walk up to it, you have the booth for the roller coaster where you can buy tickets, and the roller coaster itself is farther into the arcade. As you walk through the arcade, though, you'll get to the New Yorker towers. There are 2 of them, an A and a B. One takes you to the higher floors, obviously. This is where I got my first room, and I was not a fan of the way you have to walk through the arcade area with your luggage just to get to the elevator. So now that you've seen the rear entrance and how you get in if you're staying here, I'm going to switch over to the front of the hotel, and this is what you would see if you were to walk in off the strip. Once you walk in, you'll notice to the right you have Tom's Watch Bar, and to the left you have the Sportsbook. The Sportsbook is fairly small, and that seems to be a common theme with most of the stuff in New York. Continuing through, you have a neighborhood recreation of New York with tons of different restaurants and stores you can go through. This is one of the biggest reasons I actually chose New York, because I thought the theming around it was incredibly cool, and it's just a ton of fun to walk around all these stores and restaurants. You then come up to the casino itself, but I'm going to follow the right wall as we continue this. On the right, you have a bunch of bars and restaurants. along with the Century elevators and an escalator that will take you up to the second floor. Moving along, you will come across the Bell Desk and Business Center and the rideshare area. You then come up on the Empire elevator and the registration section, which you've already kind of seen me walk through earlier. Continuing on, you have your essential store, and then you have the pool. I was honestly pretty disappointed with the pool. It was pretty small, there was only one hot tub, and the roller coaster going overhead constantly was noisy and obnoxious. Coming back inside and following the right wall once again, you have a Starbucks right on the corner. You then come to the front drop-off and pickup area. You then come across the high limit area. Now keep in mind, this is all going around the outside edge. The casino is literally right in the center of all this, and I'll come back around and show you this at the end. You'll eventually come across an escalator that will take you upstairs to the food court area, along with a few other bars and restaurants and shops. Honestly, as a budget traveler, I was kind of disappointed with the food court. I was hoping for maybe some budget options like national chains that are generally a little bit cheaper, but everything here was pretty expensive. If you continued along this way, it'll take you to a walkway that takes you over to Excalibur. This other direction will take you to a walkway that takes you over to MGM Grand. Coming down the escalator, you can see the casino for the first time, and I thought it was pretty small. I don't gamble, so it's not a big deal for me, but I imagine if you do gamble, this might be a little disappointing. Continuing to the right, you have Hershey World. This was pretty cool. I didn't really buy anything in here because of the prices, but it was really neat to walk through and especially see the chocolate Statue of Liberty they have inside. As part of my reservation with MGM, I was given a food credit, and I used it here at the Nine Fine Irishman. The food wasn't bad. I had a burger, and it was pretty decent. And that takes you kind of in a full loop around the lower floor of the property. The fitness center and spa were on the third floor, and I'm not going to lie, this is one of the most pathetic gyms I have ever seen, especially for a large property that's right on the strip. I ended up just leaving and going to Planet Fitness because this basically had no machines that were worth using. As I said earlier, I wasn't a fan of the layout and how you have to walk through the arcade to get to your hotel room if you're in the New Yorker towers. But the arcade itself was actually pretty neat. It was a pretty large arcade, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. If you step outside the casino, you have obviously the Tom's Watch bar that you can get to from the inside too, but you also have a Shake Shack. And it's obviously not part of the property, but across the street they have a food court with several affordable options. One of the nice things I do like about staying at MGM properties is you can use your app as a key card to unlock your doors. The only problem is half the time I found it didn't work. So this is the view I got. I'm on the 15th floor in New York, New York. Not the best because you got to look at this down here, which does suck. But you do get a view of like the Sphere, and you can kind of see the Vegas Strip here. I'm curious what it's going to look like tonight. I'm probably just going to go across the street because apparently that's a Raising Cane's right down there, and I do like them quite a bit. So I'm going to head down there after I go to Walmart and get some food. This is driving me crazy because I'm just so close to it. I'm going to see if they have a higher floor or something a little bit farther away from the roller coaster because I'm going to go crazy with this thing, right next to me and people screaming all the time. All right, everyone, let me go ahead and show you what the room is like. Walking in, you have the security latch, and then of course you have the standard one on the door. You have your light, which I think at one point might have been motion censored. But yeah, I'm not sure about that anymore. What I did like on the right or on the left, right behind the door, is you have hooks for things like swimming trunks or whatever, towels, that kind of thing. That was really nice. Let's go into the bathroom next. Now, first off, I am not a fan of this door. Yeah, this door is broken, needs to be oiled something because it's not good. The shower itself, I didn't like how the flooring was. Like the grout has worn down or something. So when you're stepping on those tiles, your feet are getting in between the grout lines, and it actually hurts a bit. So not a fan of that. The shower itself was nice and warm, but the pressure wasn't that great. Over on this wall, you have another hook for clothes or towel. Decent sized countertop with some soaps. Another second mirror here. Then just a basic toilet in here. It is a pretty decent sized bathroom, I would say. So heading out of the bathroom, you get a full-size mirror. And you have a really long hallway for this. It's kind of weird. Then coming over here, you got the second door here if you want to latch or, be with somebody else, next door to each other. Let's go to the right now. They have a cabinet area, another mirror. At first I thought this was a place for a fridge, which they probably did at one point with the vents, but they took it out, I guess, which is unfortunate. Then you got a couple more drawers with your hair dryer. And then I think there's just nothing in here. Yeah, nothing in there. Then you have your end table or bed stand. You have Let me pull that out of the way. USB-C, USB-A, 2 regular outlets, and then your power switch, which I do like actually quite a bit. It's a pretty nice power switch. A phone, and then you have your king-size bed. This was actually pretty comfy. It's one of the most comfortable beds I have stayed at in a hotel. With all my back issues, this one gave me almost none, so really good job on that. Then coming over to your TV and bench area here. Now, the internet was pretty good, I thought. About 20 down, 20 up, and this was very consistent. Also, what really shocked me, though, is I have this hooked up my PC so you can see. Where is it? You have a 4K TV with HDR, something I pretty much never see in hotels. Anyway, moving on from the entertainment section, you got your safe, another place to hang clothes and stuff. You have your cabinet here for more hanging clothes. I've just used it for a place to put dirty clothes at the moment. Another light over in the corner, which is fairly bright. Then you have your floor to ceiling window, which I really like. I'll show more on that in a second. Then on the other side is the exact same thing as the other side of the bed. A USB-C, USB-A power switch, and then the 2 regular outlets. You have your air conditioner. I've kept it at 65 the whole time. And the nice thing about this is they've actually thought about it and put a little way to direct the air duct on here to direct the air towards you instead of just, straight into a wall over there, which is really nice. So, and then you also have a little table here to use your laptop, eat, do whatever. Now, looking outside, it's not the greatest view, honestly, because you're looking at the old side of the Tropicana. You got the MGM, you can see right there, which is okay when it's lit up at night. And then you can see the Excalibur, Mandalay Bay, and the Luxor right here. Honestly, though, I wasn't impressed with the view, because you're just kind of looking at a dead parking lot or empty parking lot here and the airport. It would have been nice if it faced down this way so you could see more down of the strip. Another thing about this window is they have like a red film on the other side of it. So it kind of, you get some discoloration looking out the window. I think it's to prevent heat from getting in. But that's kind of disappointing. Plus the window is kind of filthy. You can't really see it on camera well, but it's not clean, which is another big disappointment. So what are my thoughts about this place now that I've been here a week and I've had a fair chance to really get the feel for it? So honestly, I kind of feel as if this is a little overpriced for what it is. So I paid about $110 per night for the first 4 nights I stayed here, January 29th through July 3rd. Those are my initial plans, but then I decided, well, I'm just gonna stay till the 4th of July. For the 4th of July, I paid an additional $550 for just 2 nights for staying the night of the 3rd and the 4th. So those 2 nights are worth more than, the first 4 nights combined. I think it's a little pricey for what this hotel is. So here are a few of my gripes. First off, I'm not a big gambler, so it's not a big deal to me. The casino area is pretty small, especially compared to other, what's called casinos right around you here. The views are not that great. I initially had stayed down in the New Yorker Tower, I believe it is, where they have, I think, 17 floors. And if you get one of those, you can kind of look down the strip. If you're looking for a hotel that has a good strip view, this is not it. This one is located basically at the south end of the strip. And if you get like one of the rooms like I do, you're facing the other south side. So you see Excalibur, Luxor, Mandalay Bay, but everything that's lit up nice at night, the Bellagio, all that area, all that stuff down the other way, you're not going to see that. Now, the first night I was here, I was actually in the New Yorker Tower, I think it's called, and it was I was on floor 15, and that actually did kind of face that way, and I could see the sphere. I could see everything. Well, I could kind of see everything. The problem was it was so low. There was basically a roof right at my foot, so that was kind of it was pretty ugly. I'll show you right here. And the other problem with that is you then have to deal with the roller coaster, until midnight, pretty much going all day, and it can get loud and obnoxious. That was actually the reason I moved rooms up to the 33rd floor here. So yeah, it's another kind of negative on this hotel. Something that really bothered me was the registration area and check-in area. That area was constantly understaffed. You had maybe 2, 3 tops people working at the counter, and you generally had a 20 to 30 minute line there. It didn't matter what time of day it was. They were just slow, and they just did not have enough staff there. And they were really trying to push people over to the self check-in, which is fine if I was just checking in, but I needed help with other things that they couldn't, do at the self check-in, obviously. The pool was very small. It's actually one of the smallest pools I think I've seen so far on the Strip. And the constant overhead noise of the roller coaster, like literally going right over your head, was pretty annoying. The hot tub was not that hot, though the pool was a decent temperature, which I liked. But yeah, the pool was not that great. Another thing I was really disappointed in was the fitness center or the gym. There was pretty much nothing there except a few free weights and like one treadmill. It was not enough to get an actual workout in. I ended up going down to Planet Fitness here in Vegas and at least got some sort of workout there, even though that place isn't the best either. I was not a fan about the location of this site. You are pretty much on the south end of the Strip. There's not much, beyond this to look at. So, I mean, besides the little food court across the street, there's not a ton. You're going to be walking to the north end, down by the Bellagio and all those places. Now let's talk about the positives. So the food courts and all the food places around here, they're pretty spendy. For me, I was trying to kind of keep it on a budget. So the nice thing was, literally right across the street from this is a very large food court with a lot of affordable foods, which was really nice. I went over there a couple times for Raising Cane's and I remember something else, but it helped me keep my like under $15 for food, opposed to if I'd eaten in here, I'm looking at $30 or $40. So I had said that I wasn't a fan of the location of this place on the Strip because it's on the south end. But the nice thing is, though, if you just go across the pedestrian bridge over to Excalibur, you can hop on a tram for complete, no money at all. It's completely free, and it'll take you to Luxor or Mandalay Bay. If you go the other way to Park MGM, you can hop on another one and go to either Aria or Bellagio, which saves you a lot of time walking down the Strip and gets you to areas that you might want to be in. As much as I didn't like dealing with the registration counter, I did like the self-check-in process. You can do it completely through your app, and then everything is tied to that. You can have a digital key on your phone, so you don't got to worry about carrying around a actual key or card or whatever, which was really nice, I thought. The only problem I had was, most places when you use tap to pay, you tap near the top where your camera is, and it works fine. For using the elevator and getting into your hotel room, I did have to go down a little bit lower on the phone. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working at first because I was tapping near the camera and that wouldn't work, so I had to go down more towards the middle of the phone. So if you stay here and you have that problem, that's what's going on. I really did like the fact that they had a 4K TV and decent internet here. This is like something I complain about every hotel room I go to. A 4K TV is not expensive. You can go to Walmart, get one for a few $100, and just maintaining your internet is just basic. I don't understand how no hotels can really do this. They can't even do simple things like reboot a router to make sure the internet works every once in a while. So good job on both of those, and I just really wish more hotels was like it. The main reason I did decide to stay here was the theming. I walked in here last year, and the whole restaurant area is really neat. The way they made it look like a New York street or something like that. That is a really cool theme. I wish more hotels would do things like that. So that is definitely a positive that I like about this place. So overall, would I stay here again? Probably not. I was really disappointed with the view, not being able to get a good view of the Strip, which is something I really enjoy. The resort fee is just stupid. I'm so tired of resort fees and then paying for parking on top of that resort fee. If you actually go and look and see what the resort fee covers, it covers long distance calls and some news publication thing, like something that nobody needs or uses anymore. So it's absolutely ridiculous that we're still going to be stuck paying resort fees. If it was for something like maintenance of the pool, I would understand at a lower cost, but you're paying $50+ a resort, a night for long distance calls and some newspaper stuff. So absolutely stupid. There are lots of other places now that are starting to offer no resort fee and no parking prices. Like when I stayed at Treasure Island last year, I thought it was honestly a better position on the Strip, and you can do no resort fee there. You can opt out of it basically, and they offer you free parking. I believe Hilton, or not Hilton, but Resorts World's doing the same thing right now, and there's a few other places I think. So the overall price I was not happy with here. Just too much money for the position on the strip, and horrible view, and how small this place really is. Like I said, small pool, small gambling area. Just not that great, honestly. Well, that's about everything in this video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and get ready to go out and see the fireworks here tonight on the 4th of July. Thanks for coming along with me and watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.